Hello and welcome back. If this is your first time here, I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and in this video, I'm going back over the stocks that I've mentioned from back in June, about the middle of June up until yesterday, and talking about what exactly happened with them. I'll keep it short on each one because there are a lot of stocks here, and we'll also recap some of the opportunities that might still exist. And while there were a lot of successes, there were also just a few failures that were in there, but like I said, the opportunities still remain for many of these stocks. So I think that this is a very valuable video to put out there. And before I get to the intro, I do want to let you know that if you shower with a Pokemon, it will probably Pikachu. Real quick, before I get started, this video started out being just a single video, but there is so much content and quality and opportunity that I wanted to break it into 3 parts for you, so that way they're shorter and more digestible and they allow you time to go through and pick through each of those things. So this is part 1. I hope that you guys enjoy it. Stick around for parts 2 and 3. I'll be releasing them in very short order so that you can check them out. Give you time over the weekend to digest the information, do your due diligence, maybe take advantage of those opportunities that you find. So enjoy part 1, guys, and I will be back with you for parts 2 and 3 very soon. So let's get right into it. What I'm going to show you first is that here in my watch list of stocks that is available through the Patreon down in the description, I have a sheet specifically for YouTube mentions to keep track of the date that I mentioned the stocks, my stance on those stocks, whether bullish, bearish, or if it's a volatility play. And I'll go through, like I said, each one of those in this video. I will also be featuring the Moomoo app, and I will tell you later on how you can get up to 16 free stocks using my link that is down in the description. For right now, I want to go over to Moomoo so that we can start looking through these stocks. So I'm going to start with the very first one that is on the list, and that one is my friend SoFi. There we go. So let me pop Moomoo up there so you can see that on the screen. And so SoFi is one of the fundamental long-term plays that I have, that I think that SoFi is going to show us that growth over time. Can't wait to hear Q2 earnings to see if we're still on track to hit profitability by Q4 of 2023. That's going to be incredible for SoFi. And I hope in the short term that the price drops, so that way we can experience some more buying opportunities that are out there. Right now, after a run up, we are experiencing a little bit of a double top. Possibly we sell off, and if we do, I think that we can revisit under $8 per share. And if we revisit under $8 per share, I think that's going to be an incredible opportunity for SoFi for the long term. And talking about this in terms of a trade type play, if we break that $10 mark, let's zoom out more on this. We have a decent amount of room on this before we hit the next area of resistance. There's a little bit as we near about $12 per share. There's a lot more as we get up towards $14 per share. And I don't think that we hit that in the near term. Maybe we go up back over 10 in the short term. We're going to have to watch and see. I think 10 is going to be a pretty hard resist for us in the near term. I think that we drop prior to running up, but that gets more into trading more than in long-term investing. I have a pretty hefty position in my portfolio for SoFi. When I say pretty hefty, I mean relative to the other stocks that I have, because I think this is one that's going to show us that growth over time. The next one that was on the list is my friend Tesla. So Tesla, I've already made 2 videos on it this week. I'm not going to go on about it for a very long time. This is another one that I have listed in my notes that I showed you. You can go back in this video to that list of stocks. In my notes, I put down fundamental and long-term, that I am bullish on this stock as well. So this is one that I think we're going to continue to see some volatility from in the near term, and it's possible in Q3 that we see some weakness coming to the stock, especially as we get different news about deliveries, about production, whatever might happen to come out for that. Elon said that production is probably going to take a hit, which means that deliveries are probably going to take a hit in the 3rd quarter as they go ahead and make upgrades to their facilities. So we're going to have to watch that. It's going to put pressure on them meeting their goal of 1.8 million vehicles for 2023. But we most definitely want to watch that demand story and the growth story happening for Tesla, make sure it's still going. If they can continue to push margins and going OEM opening up their full self-driving is going to be incredible. Opening up their charging network to be the North American Standard Charging, NASC. is also incredible to make that to get more buy-in for that. And there's a whole list. If you look at their earnings deck, Ford is on there, GM, Mercedes, and like just a whole list of others. And like I said, just go to their investor relations page, open up the trading deck, and you can see all the companies that are adopting their standard. And opening up the Lightning Network to those companies is going to be very good. It's going to be a very strong tailwind, in my opinion, for Tesla. And also at the Patreon, you get access to my spreadsheet that shows my Tesla stock price prediction for up through 2030, that it's up to a 5x stock. So I'll put that out there for you, and I'll put out another one over the Patreon for Q3's projections as well for what I expect for that quarter. And like I said, we're going to have to watch and see as things play out for that. So Tesla on the list, bullish, long-term, definitely undecided. The next one, going a little bit quicker now, is my friend C3AI. And in the AI space, you can see, look at the volumes. The volumes are non-existent at first, and then AI hype starts to hit around the end of January, and it absolutely takes off volume-wise, peaking so far around May the 30th, although price-wise, we didn't hit peak until all the way on June the 16th. I mentioned this on, June the 12th. That I said it was going to be a volatility play, and I call it a success because, man, on June the 12th, there we go, we had a closing price of $37.60. We went up 33% in that time, just all the way from the 12th to the 16th, up 33%, and then we dropped all the way back down. If we go to the 26th that we have here, let me see the closing price on that one, $31. So from 48 down to 31, that's, oh my gosh, that's another 33% drop that we had happening from there. And I am pleased to announce to all of you that the opportunity here is that there's absolutely an opportunity for further volatility as we see this narrowing. Will we get that sell-off, or is this going to be bullish and it's going to keep going for us? We have a drop in the RSI. We have a rise in the prices. It is possible that we start to see that softness. Honestly, I think it could be enough to push us back down under the 50-day. So if I were going to take a single stance on this, and for me, I love this as a volatility play for options, I think that I would sooner do puts than calls. However, because I am fairly undecided, either you can do a long straddle or a long strangle. Look up and research those if you haven't, because those are volatility plays, option plays that you can put out there that can help you to take advantage of believing that there's going to be a big break in a stock, in the underlying security for that option. And you don't even have to know which way it's going to go. You just need to have that very healthy suspicion that it's going to move one way or the other in a big way. And long straddles, long strangles are ways that you can play that volatility without knowing the direction. So C3AI, absolutely opportunity there. Called it a success. I think that there's still a success going forward. Dynavax is the next one, DVAX, and this one is an off the beaten path stock. And this one I talked about all the way back on June the 12th. So if I go back to June the 12th, that is right here on a Monday. And I believe I called this one on prior to the market open when we were looking at this one. So if we look at the opening price for this one, it was $11.40, closed that day at almost $12, and actually ran up. And I said that the top on this could be around $15 per share. It actually peaked out at around $14.48. So just an incredible run for Dynavax to go up that high. That's over a 20% gain. And with Move, there's an option called interval stats that doesn't show up on my screen here with the software that I have. But if you click and drag with those interval stats, it will tell you the percent change that you experienced over that time. So if I move there we go, move it to the right place, that's a 22% change from when I first said, hey, bullish on this stock. It could really moved 22% up. And so for this one, I think near term, this is one that I think could pull back a little bit closer to its 50-day. So if we zoom out here, you can see the run up that it's had. And let me close out the interval stats so it's not in our way. I think that for this one that we return to its 50-day before we start making that next leg up. So this is one that can drop considerably from where it's at prior to making that next jump. So like I said, off the beaten path, made wonderful movements so far. Let's move on. A lot of stocks in there. Next one's EOG. EOG, I said for this one that I was bearish on it, and for the time I called it a success because it did drop all the way down to support. So this is one I said on June the 13th. So if we go to the 13th of June, there we are. We had a closing price of $111.96, and that one sold off all the way when we go to June the 23rd. That one closed at 106, which is where I said about where we could find the support. So we dropped about $5, so 45% drop on that one. And you can see since then, it's actually double bottomed and moved up to where we're actually getting a little bit of a bull pennant, and we're also trading above the 200 day. So this is sort of a bullish reversal for us, possibly leading to a golden cross moment. So this is one that I would flip-flop, going from short when it was below the 200, below the 50 day, and now that we actually ran back up above the 200 day, and what we have is the 50 day giving a little bit of indication, giving a little bit of hint that it's moving back up towards the 200. It is possible that in the near future we get a golden cross moment for Dynavax. So I'm sorry, for EOG. There we go. Let's move on from there. ASO, another success. However, this one I also mentioned on June the 13th. So if I go to the 13th, that's right here, and we had a closing price of $51.64. That actually dropped all the way down for us, down to $48.49 is what we have here. And it did move back up above its 200 day, and so we get a little bit of a bullish reversal. And I actually put that in my risks that I have on here. Let me toss it back up, and you could see that where I have that. Let me transition real quick. There we are. So you can actually see that right here that I said a bullish above the 200 day, and it worked for a little bit, and then it sold back off again. And I said the risk was the double bottom, and that double bottom actually did really turn out to be fairly good for its bullish movement. We're going to have to look and see what it does today as it dropped back down below its 200 day, and it might be setting up to reverse back into bearish territory. We're just going to have to watch. All right, so ADP is the next one. This concludes part one. Do yourself a favor, check out the link in the description for those free stocks that you can get from Moomoo. 16 free stocks. More about it at the end of part 3. Also, that link down in the description for the Patreon. Check that out. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, learning is earning. We'll see you in part 2.